Well, Doneane is here to tell us how we can boost our vitamin D intake. Thanks for joining us.
Sure. You know, during this time of year, sometimes the weather's not real good. It's either too cold or it's too dreary to get outside. And we get vitamin D from sunlight exposure.
Oh, yeah.
Our bodies make vitamin D when we're exposed to the sun, and there's very few foods that we can eat that actually have vitamin D in them. So if you get the kind of wintertime blahs and, you know, the blues at this time of year, that probably means that you don't have enough vitamin D. So I'm going to give the viewers a couple of little easy recipes for some things that even the kids can help make and that your kids might actually like that give you some vitamin D.
Okay.
The first thing is kale. This is kale. It's a dark leafy green vegetable, and it comes in great big bunches. And this right here is already a Ziploc bag with some of the leaves torn up, and they're really easy to do. Your kids can help you do this. You just strip it off of the stem, and it just comes right off. And you want to tear it into chunks about the size of a 50-cent piece.
Okay.
And you just throw them in the bag. And you want to douse it with olive oil.
Okay.
And the reason I do this in a bag is it makes it so easy cleanup is a breeze. And then with the kale chips, I like to put in sesame oil. Sesame oil kind of has a nutty smell to it. Kind of smells like peanut butter. Then you want to douse it real good with our wonderful Textoy steak seasoning. And then I like to use garlic salt. Now, if you're watching your salt intake, you can use garlic powder, or you can actually use minced garlic if you want to use actual garlic on it instead of the powder. Then you want to take all the air out of the bag and kind of mush it up real good. Let the leaves get coated really well. And then you just dump it into a pan and you put it in the broiler. Now, you would think putting a leafy vegetable in the broiler would be a disaster.
Yeah.
Well, what happens is the leaves kind of start to burn and get brown around the edges, and it turns into what we call kale chips.
Wow,
they have
potato chips.
Yes, they have the consistency of potato chips, and they taste wonderful.
Oh, really?
Now, another thing you can do, and this is broccoli, and it's kind of the same concept. Put your broccoli flores in a bag, and you don't want to use frozen broccoli. You want to use fresh broccoli flores. Same thing, douse in the olive oil. Douse in your Textoy steak seasoning. Again, garlic salt or garlic powder, or you can use real minced garlic if you like. Same thing, close the bag, take the air out, mush it around really good so that everything gets coated real well with the olive oil. And then the same thing, you dump it into a pan, put it in the broiler, and you want to cook it until it starts to look like it's burned. It smells wonderful, it tastes great, it's got a crunchy consistency to it, and that's why kids will love it.
I was going to say, the kids will probably love that.
Yes, and it makes your house smell wonderful.
Wow.
Now, if you can't get your kids to eat the dark leafy green vegetables, you can do some other things. There's a spice called turmeric, and it's in Indian foods, it's in curry. You have to cook with it a whole lot and use a whole lot of it in your daily intake to get enough of it to really make a difference. So if you don't use turmeric on a consistent basis, you can also take it in capsule form. Here it is right here. It's 500 milligrams. Most physicians would recommend if you do this that you take 500 milligrams twice a day. And then also there's a vitamin D supplement. It comes in kind of a little gel capsule. The recommended daily allowance for vitamin D is not to go over 10,000 international units. Now, if you're going to take a supplement and you've never taken one before, be sure and check with your doctor before you add this to your daily plan. But these are just some tips for getting some extra vitamin D during this time of year. There's also some other foods that contain vitamin D. Salmon, mackerel, tuna contains vitamin D.
Yeah, I have a quick funny story about vitamin D. When I first was pregnant with my son, I would drink milk. I just craved it all the time, my entire pregnancy. And come to find out I was deficient in vitamin D. And so I think that was what I was trying to, you know, make up for that.
Right,
so, you know, it was really interesting.
Yeah, vitamin D is in all of our milk products now. So if you're feeling the wintertime blues, you've probably got a lack of vitamin D.
Okay, I'm going to take one right after